Good evening. From RC Kolkata, I, Mr. Dipankar Ghosh, on behalf of Kolkata region, BSWG program, Unit 3. Today, I will going to discuss a topic regarding subject BSWG program and Unit 3. So, today, my discussions on community organizations as a method of social work. It is a unit of subject BSW 123. In this unit, I will give you a picture regarding what the community organizations is and what is the community organizations actual. Community organizations, rather to say, as a method of social work. At first, it is to be clear from the beginning that community organizations is not a particular word which carries a concept for well-developed society of being creating features regarding the institutionals and the functional approaches also. In this unit, we will be able to learn and able to understand what the community organizations method, why it is called the macro method. Secondly, in this topic, we can easily identify the community organizations as a method of social work. Thirdly, the relevance of community organizations for the community development also. We can easily distinguish what is community organizations and what is community development. We can easily also recognize the understanding the concept of the power of community. So all these segments and all these part separately we can able to understand from the topic, rather to say from this chapter. After being completing our discussions, I am surely give pictures regarding these issues. So at first we just start an introductions regarding these issues. I have told you the aims and objectives of community organizations. At first, this unit belongs to the method of community organizations as a method of social work. It is a path, the way by which we can easily maintain the process of community organizations, process of uh, delivering the social work activities. So community organizations is one of the primary methods. Community organizations is one of the primary methods of social work. So it deals with the interventions in the communities to solve the community problems also. As a method of social work, community organizations can solve the problem of the poor and the common people also. The development of interrelated as two sides of the same coins. That is community development and community organizations. The community organizations includes the other methods of the process to maintain the role. The social workers, each and every responsible social workers always to be um, mentioned and always to be uh, deliver the pattern of social work. So this is used to improvising the practice of community organizations method. So which is used for the empowering the people. So at first we should very much aware by empowering the women's development throughout the field of every field of society. So details are provided for social work students to understand and practice of the community organizations also. That is the introductions, but as per my opinion, community organizations and community development are the two sides of a coin. You can easily explain of this. So our second uh, component regarding this unit is community organization as a macro method. It is clearly said that community organizations, we can easily say that community organizations as a macro method. It is used for solving community problems. The term macro is used because of its ability to involve a large number of people and solving the problems also. So, community organizations is a macro organizing process because the method can be successfully implemented at local level of the community or at state level or the regional levels of the community so far, I suppose. For example, community organizations can help the pollution control at local state government or regional or the international state government, that is also maintained by the macro element in this regard. So community organization deals with the large number of people uh, from our society, and it is very much observing or very much promising part of the society. For example, poverty cannot be solved by using individual approaches like casework, and as there are many affected of the poverty. So individual approaches is not practical where the magnitude of the problems is alarming. In such cases, we have to use a method which can help a large number of people. So, while comparing other methods of social work, community organizations as macro method is useful for solving widespread economic and social problems like poverty. So we can easily discuss that community organization is nothing but a macro method. It's a method by which we can easily help the poor and the wretched people throughout the society also. There are so many people who are suffering from various ill and ill treatment and various unhealthy situations created by the human beings of our society. Sometimes it may be offered by the politicians and the policy makers by their uh, unhealthy policies they are offered for the common and people. So thereafter it is being completely disturbing and very much oppressive, so that we can easily be explained that or easily be declared that community organizations is micro method, sorry, macro method in this regard. Here is the part of our second component starts from this area. We can easily discuss the community organizations as a problem solving method. We all know this is a part of solving process. So problem solving method, we can rather to say that it is a process of being solving the problems. In community organization method, the community is the client also, and community organization solves the community problems throughout and fulfills the needs of the community, so that many of the community problems like social problems, social injustice, poverty, unemployment, marital problems, pollutions, exploitations, women trafficking, child trafficking, women's abuseness. So there are so many types of problems in our society created by the human beings, and trying to solve the human beings also. So here is an important part regarding the social worker to solve the process in this part and in this situation. So in problem solving, generally there are three basic aspects. These are the study, diagnosis, treatment, and generally there are many aspects and many sides for solving the process. First problem has to be the problem has to be studied. So in our society, basically in the part of India, there are so many problems we have to face, and being a responsible social worker, you have to face so many problems day to day, time to time, and from areas to areas. It varies from areas to areas. There is a common and strong problem that we have to face is, that is superstitions. Some areas, interior areas from any regions, there are the beliefs, the rituals, and beyond it, they have to face is the problem of superstitions. For this, we have to collect the informations and regarding the problems from the information collected to identify the actual problem and the actual cause is. So to find out the problems, it is called diagnosis. To find out the problems, to try to solve the problem, it is a case work based on the findings or diagnosis. A solution is involved, that is called treatment. We consider this model a medical because or a model because doctors study the patient to find out the causes for illness, and based on the findings and the treatments of medicines are prescribed. Such a model can be used in community organizations method. Problems can be solved only with involvement of the people, for which resources and the process of doing this. This method is especially applicable in Indian situations, because in India, a large number of people are affected by poverty of other and the related problems solving method, and this problem solving method is mostly affected by the poverty and their poverty related situations also. So for these community organizations, as a problem of solving the um, method and solving the process also. Water storage during rainy seasons can sometimes water stored during the rainy seasons can help the people to continue cultivations. And here the whole village problem is related with water for irrigations, and that is very much essentials for community organizations also. So community organizations method is used for the following purposes. Don't you say that this is a blocked method. It is not so. Community organization is a fundamental process, or is a glorious method of solving the social work problems also. So there we can easily be denoted this part regarding these issues also. So, what are the possibilities of community organizations? Number one, to meet the needs and bring about the maintain of adjustment because between the needs and the resources in a community organizations. So in this, there are so many fundamental issues regarding this. Secondly, helping the by this effort, we can easily help the poor effectively to work with their problems and plan to realize their objectives by helping them to develop, to strengthen, and maintain qualities of participation, self-directions, and operations also, cooperations also. Thirdly, bringing about changes in community and group relationships and in the distributions of the decision-making power also. Fourth, the resources of the community are identified and tapped for solving the community problems also. So, in this regard, then a question is very greatly appear in front of us, that is relevancy of community organizations for community development. What is community organizations and what is community development? Both are most probably and most parallelly run, but there are a little bit difference between these. So I am giving you the points of these issues. So community organizations and community development are interrelated. To achieve the goals of the community development, the community organizations method is used. According to United Nations, community development deals with total development of a developing country, and that is their economics, physical, and social aspects also. For achieving total development, community organization is used in community development. The following aspects are considered, that is very much important for the community organizations, the importantness. The same aspects are also considered important for community organizations. What are the aspects? Number one, democratic procedure. Two, voluntary cooperations. Three, self-help. Four, development of leadership. Five, educational aspects. So, these 5 points are very much essential regarding community organizations' relevancy to the community development also. All the above aspects are related to community organizations. There are, I declared 5 points regarding this issue: democratic procedures, voluntary cooperations, self-help appearances, development of leadership, educational aspects. All five are community organizations. So what are the democratic procedure? Let us discuss on democratic procedure. Democratic procedures means to allowing the part of community members to participate in the decision making. It is possible to achieve these community organizations. So the selected or elected members of representatives are helped to make decisions. So democratic procedure help people to take part in achieving community, to deliver to deliver the community also. It is very much clear to decorate the community organizations. Community organizations method permits democratic procedures of people's participation. Secondly, voluntary cooperation means that the people volunteer for their participations. For this, they are convinced, and they should feel that they should involve themselves in the process of development without hesitations and involve themselves to process the participations and the development without hesitations, and people's emotions or the emotional development is necessary for making the community organizations method successful. So these are the part of community organizations, voluntary cooperations. There are systematic cooperations regarding this social work activity. That is a voluntary cooperations. The cooperations will be without any hesitations. The cooperations will be sometimes it will be on unpaid mode, but the process of helping the persons is very much essential for this region or for this sessions also. So in this regard of being offering the community organization to poor people, that is a very much essential and the vital functional part is to help the poor and the wretched people, and that is by voluntary cooperations. It is a extraordinary functional approaches regarding the findings of voluntary cooperation. And what is the self-help? Self-help is the basic of community development. Self-help deals with the capacity of mobilizing internal resources. It self-help is the basics deals with the capacity of mobilizing internal resources and the self-help on community organizations field. It is very much relevant to the community development because both emphasize the self-help concept. Community development and community organizations basically depends on self-help. The person who is not in dependent or from himself or herself, how can they help the mm, poor one or another persons for being the extraordinary creations or extraordinary help to the poor people. So self-help is one of the best way to communicate the uh, person and the poor people. So development of leadership is an important aspect in community organizations or community development also. Development of leadership is an important aspect of community development. So community organization is a relevant method to develop and use leadership. This is applicable for community development also. Educational aspects in community development means um, to helping people to know, learn, and accept concepts of democracy, cooperations, unity, skill development, effective functioning, etc. In community organizations, also the above mentioned aspects are considered very important. The process of the community organizations for emphasize the educational of the community. Thus, both are emphasizing the educational aspects for the process of the community. Thus, community organizations and community development are interrelated and mutually supportive. So there are no opposing aspects in between community organizations and community development as both emphasize democratic methods and self-help principles. So thus they are related. In all community development programs, community organizations method is used as the implementing method also. Or you can easily say that community organization is a process of helping the common people. So there is a vibrating questions regarding this area, that is distinctions between community organizations and community development. I said both two, community organization and community development, are most probably parallel of some points, but the basic features regarding this issue, though it will be common from areas to areas, fields to fields, but there are some different perspectives also. I will try to discuss that areas where some differences shows on that issue. So there are many similarities between community organizations and community development, but for theoretical purpose, it is possible to differentiate community organizations and community development. Number one, community organization is a method of social work, but community development is a program of for a planned change. Secondly, community organizations emphasize the process, but community development emphasize the end of goals. Thirdly, community organizations are mostly social workers, social change agents, but community development personnel can be from various professions, that is, from agriculture areas, veterinary experts, and other technical experts, any working field from the society. They are called community development, a concept building attitude for developing the society and their habitats is called community development. It is most probably related with the sustainable development also. You can easily say that sustainable development and also community development are most probably same. The development which is gradually growing, that is community development. And next point, community organization is not a time bounding process, and but it achieved step by steps according to the pace of the people. But community development is time bound and time is specified for the achieving the development objectives. In community organizations, people participations is important. In community development, the community organizations, people's participations is important. But in community development, people's development is important. Sometimes people's participations is important, but in community development, people's development as a whole develop the development considered as a whole, that is very much important and very much essentials of this issue. In community organizations, assistance from government and external agencies are not important or needed also. In community organization, in the field of community organization, but in community development, external assistance from the government or other agencies is considered important. So community organizations is a method of social work, and this method is used in many fields. But unlike community organizations, community development is considered as process, method, program, and movement for planned exchange. So our next point is community organization is used in all fields of the community process or community status or community areas also. In community organizations, planned or planning should be on different ways and different patterns regarding the issues of these areas. So in So, in the field of community organizations, planning is initiated by the people through their participation. But in community development, planning is carried out by an external agency, mostly by the government. In community organization, people are organized to solve their problem. They the community development goals have to achieve and for their people are organized. Lastly, community organization is universal to all communities, but community development programs differ from people to people depending upon whether the area is rural, urban, tribal, and other characteristics of the area also. Even though there are differences, both are interrelated. Both are interrelated. The relationship is so close that community organizations process and principles are accepted fully. Both are the ideal community development or to solve the community organizations also. Our second unit is regarding this area, that working with individuals, families, and groups within the community. There are three parts for build up the community organizations properly: individuals, families, and groups. That is community organizations approaches and behavioral patterns of relevancies. So individual join together and from groups and families and groups join together from the communications for the communities also. While working with communities, we have to work with the individuals, families, groups, and so on. So, being a responsible social worker, there are so many problems regarding community organizations that we have to faces a lot, but all are carried out based on the situations. According to situations, there are so many changes, there are so many functional delinquencies happen, and it is very effective and successful working with individuals. If any individuals trying to try to improve their activities and effectively for achieving the common goals to save the poor ones, there are many groups in the community, and the uh, groups are better than the average of the individuals. That is very much essential. The group members can eliminate the very operations, and the individuals can work first in a group, but no involve others in work takes sense time. So concessions is considered, and but in involve others in work takes places. When there are controversial issues among the group members, it is succeed and reach to the decisions by modifying their original decisions. So, thus a community organization individuals way of thinking, then it may become the acceptable to all the group methods. Thus, a community organization has to work with individuals and groups to achieve the community goals. The organizer should have a casework and group work as skills apart from community organization too. And skills to work with the individuals for doing such activities and patterns of community efforts also. So the questions from this area, we can say that what do you mean by working with the individuals and groups to achieve the community organizations or community goals, you can say. Second questions in this issue is, what are the community goals regarding community organizations efforts and community organizations process? Next component regarding the community organizations is concept and dimensions of the power. Concepts and dimensions of the power. What are the concepts and dimensions of the power? So, power means the ability to influence others through community organizations. That is, influencing community members to act as suggested by the leaders to achieve the community goals. The community power aspects can be studied. This is called power structure of the community. The power structure of the community varies from community to community. According to social workers, power is the ability to influence the beliefs and behavior of others. In other words, power is the ability to make things happen. Mr. Hunter explained the nature of power and power structure also. Power appears in numerous forms and in a variety of combinations. The powerless people also have power, but only differences is they have to discover their power. And power without education affects the entire society very much. Powerful, sometimes people are powerful because they knew each other personally and they can easily focus themselves, interact, making up possibilities for them to join in the joint efforts of community affairs. So people with power make major community decisions, whereas others are active and mainly in implementing such decisions. An organizations or an organizer who is able to study the power structure well can practice community organizations effectively for influence other people to act. Many a time, this leader is motivated in achieving the goals of the community. The leader is capable of influencing people effectively. When there are oppositions from a few men, it can be tackled by the leader because the leader has the power also. In the community, power is diverted. Power of human, power of policies, power of educations. So many types of power in this. Each power center tries to expand its influences over the distributions of resources. They share power, enter into a contact, and discharge obligations also. It can be used for achieving the goals. The power can be intellectual, political, social, psychological. To retain power, there is need for self-awareness and self-control. The decisions making is the source of and the outcome of the power. So sometimes there is a possibilities to many power centers. So there are the techniques for mobilizing the power. That is very important to mobilize the power. What is mobilize? Power mobilizations. That is very much important to mobilize the power. What are the mobilizations regarding power? Number one, applying to various steps or to the persons with power who are related in requested to help the achieving the goals. Secondly, relating the power centers directly to the goal. Relating the power centers directly to the goal. Third, developing independence among power centers for fulfilling the goals also. Next, encouraging members of power centers to join with other members of power centers to achieve the goal. Last, by using group work methods, new larger power centers can be strengthened to achieve the goals. Strengthened to achieve the goals. Now, almost end of this topic, we can't be avoid a point, a valid point regarding this chapter, that is the obstacle or barriers of empowerment. Relevancy of power in the community organizations, that is the part, but barriers to empowerment, what is that? Generally, power people have the feeling to powerlessness. The people can be helped to feel powerful to decide their own affairs using community organizations. When they learn to solve their problems, they feel powerful. They can develop confidence and capacity building takes place so that they feel that they can solve their problems by themselves. In community organizations, the people carry out decisions making. This provides them with a sense of empowerment, and empowerment deals with providing the disadvantaged groups with powerful instruments and articulating their demands and preference by the developing awareness. So community organization results in empowerment of the people, but there are some hindrance regarding this issue. The community depends prolonged poverty, wrong beliefs, etc. Act and it is act as the benefits are the barriers to the empowerment. So when people are organized, they get the power and they are coordinate with each other. Thus makes them feel powerful and they can coordinate with the other people regarding the same issues. Now, the women's empowerment, child abuse, stop the child abuse or the child trafficking, the community organization result in empowerment of the people. The empowerment helps the community to stand against exploitations, gain ability to solve problems, and to achieve the desired goals. Many of the economic problems can be easily solved by community organizations and empowerment of the community too. Now, what do you mean by the community power structure? What do you mean by the community power structure? Uh, Our question is, what do you mean by community power structure? I suppose the answer will be decorated in this pattern. The power means the ability to influence others to carry out desired actions. So, community power structure deals with who influences, how, what for, and what is the resulting of this influencing. It is considered, as I said, that it is a macro method. It's a process of practicing. So the resulting method of these issues or the part of this that the discuss about community organizations as a part of community development, which takes place gradually. Now, the importance of working with the individuals, families, and groups has been discussed. Towards the end of the topic, the power structure and its relevance to the community organizations has been discussed. We have also separate community organizations and community development. Their relevancies, their differencing process, differences, all these phenomena or activity we can easily denote and discuss through this. Sometimes it may be on theoretical part, and sometimes when the term of practical base, that is on the fieldwork sessions, we can easily be point out the relevancy of power regarding the community organizations and the community development too. So there may be various in these procedures with regard and with the promising family planning and very much effective for developing the society of doing the community organizations. Otherwise, it is not possible to implement the organizations to progress for the society and societal persons or else. So this is our ending sessions and for today. Hope we all are very much fruitful to all of my viewers, fruitful to learn the class, and we will meet tomorrow for same time and on a different issues and the different topic from BSW 182 areas. So thank you and thank you for today. Okay, that's all for today. Bye.